Alright everyone, welcome back to Side Yard Mechanic. Today we're going to do a step-by-step how to change your motor oil. So a few things that you're going to need to do this, of course, is your motor oil, your filter, appropriate for your car. Check your owner's manual. A quick Google search will tell you what to get, what type of weight of fluid. The weight of fluid is right here on the bottle, 5W30. Then your oil filter, there's a part number for that. You're also going to need an oil pan. You're going to need a funnel to fill it up. You're going to need some rubber gloves, some rags. You could use some old towels, shirts, whatever you may have. You're also going to need a set of ramps and some wheel chocks. Along with all of that, you're also going to want some safety glasses, safety first. You're also going to need a ratchet with the socket for your drain plug and an oil filter wrench, depending on what type of filter your car has. Some cars use the traditional ones. Other ones use a cartridge filter that has a screw-on cap from the top. So you'll need a socket to fit that also. When you're ready to change your oil, you're going to start your car and run it for 10 to 15 minutes to get it to operating temperature. Get your ramps and place them in front of your wheels so that they're lined up straight. Now that your car's on the ramps, apply the parking brake. Install your wheel chocks behind your rear wheels. Once your car has been running for 10 to 15 minutes and the oil's warm, turn the car off. With your car off, locate your oil fill cap and unscrew it. Find your dipstick, your oil dipstick. It's normally the yellow one. Pull that up as a reminder not to forget to fill up your oil. Now once you're under your car, locate the bottom of the motor and find the drain pan. The drain pan will have a drain plug towards the back of it. Find a socket that fits on that drain plug. In this case, it's 14 millimeters. You want your oil pan directly under the drain plug. I suggest putting a piece of cardboard under your drain plug in case you spill. Now with your ratchet and your socket, go ahead and break that loose. Be careful, the oil that's coming out of here is hot. So hold your hand somewhat out of the way and let the oil drain into the pan. After 5 to 10 minutes, your oil will stop flowing to a steady drip like this. At that point, clean off the oil filter where the drain plug goes and clean your oil plug and put it back in. Use your ratchet and tighten the plug. Doesn't need to be too tight. Run it down till it stops and give it just a few little bumps like that. Now that your oil has drained, locate your oil filter. This one's in the front of the motor. Some are in different locations. Just look around and find it, or look in your owner's manual and it'll tell you where it's at. We're going to find our oil filter wrench that fits on our filter. And we're going to put it on so that when we turn, it's going to loosen it. Now before you do this, make sure that your oil pan is slid underneath. There's going to be some oil that's going to come out. So once you break the seal loose, it should only be hand tight. So remove your filter wrench and unscrew the filter and let it drain. Once the filter stops draining and starts dripping, fully remove the filter from the car. The filter might be warm. Take your rag and clean the surface where the filter seals. Make sure that the rubber O-ring is not stuck on the motor. Take our oil filter and we're going to fill it with oil about halfway. Be careful, they fill up pretty fast. So pour nice and slow. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take some oil and rub it on that new rubber O-ring that's on the filter. Now we're going to take our filter that has the oil in it and install it onto our engine. Just be gentle, don't press too much on the threads. Just spin it until you could feel it start to bite and then run it down to the engine. The filters don't need to be on not too tight, just enough to seal the O-ring. So once you get the filter down to touching the motor, what you're going to do is you're only going to turn that filter about another 1/4 inch. So grab it and twist it about a 1/4 turn. Wipe off any oil that might have dripped, wipe off the filter. Check your pan, make sure everything's nice and clean down here. On this drain pan that we have, it has markings to show how much oil was drained out. It's hard to read, but on this pan it looks like it's just over 3 quarts. So that's how much oil you want to put in your car initially before we take it off the ramps and check it. Now that we got our oil drained, it's time to fill up our oil. We've seen on our oil pan that 3 quarts came out, so we're going to put 3 quarts in. So now remove your cap and install your funnel. Make sure the funnel fits in the fill spout good. Take your jug of oil and begin to pour slowly so you don't overflow. We're going to pour until we get that 3 quarts in. Every car and every motor is going to be different, so depending on what you're working on and how much oil you drained out is what you're going to put back in it. Now we put about 3 quarts of oil in the engine. You can check your bottle, your jug. This is a 5-quart jug, so it shows that there's 2 quarts left. That means we put 3 quarts in. Now with the oil filled, we're going to put our dipstick in. We're going to take our filler cap, install that onto our engine. Not too tight, just hand tight. Remove your wheel chock from your wheels. We're going to start up the car. And make sure that the oil light is not on. We're going to go under the car and make sure there's nothing leaking. No drips, nothing's leaking out. With the engine running, make sure you don't hear any abnormal noise or see any oil dripping under the car. Release your parking brake. With your foot on the brake, put it in reverse and slowly come down the ramps. Put your car in park, parking brake on. Now that we changed the oil, you want to run your car until it gets to operating temperature, which is about in between the hot and cold mark. Now we could turn the engine off and check the level. Now with our engine off, we're going to pull out our dipstick, wipe it clean, reinstall it, and check the level. So on this car, the hash mark right here is full hot. We're about 3/4 of the way up. We might want to add about a 1/4 quart to make it all the way full. Just added a 1/4 quart of oil. Now we're going to recheck our level. Shows right on the money. Reinstall the dipstick, reinstall the filler cap. You're good to go. If your oil pan isn't self-contained where you can take it to recycle it, you can take your old oil and pour it into your empty oil jug. Take it with your oil filter down to your auto parts store. They usually recycle it for free. Well, thanks for joining us again on Side Yard Mechanic. You change your own oil. Awesome job. You can do it. Watch one of these videos up here. We'll see you on the next one.